Hello everyone, I'm Brazen Eagle and thank you for joining me here. Today we have two articles that discuss the disastrous legacy of Pound Me Too and discrimination, of course, to benefit women. But let's start with the Sydney Morning Herald. A hand up, not a handout. The UTS lowers engineering entry bar for women. The University of Technology Sydney will allow female school leavers to enter its engineering courses with a lower ATAR than males under a plan to boost the number of women in the field. The university applied to the NSW Anti-Discrimination Board for permission to give 10 Australian tertiary admission rank adjustment points to female students applying for engineering and construction degrees next year. It sounds like this board doesn't understand what discrimination actually is. Anyways, many universities allocate adjustment points based on disadvantage or illness, but UTS Director of Women in Engineering and IT, R.T. Agarwal, said she believed the university would be the first to base them on gender, not sex, but on your feelings. Dr. Agarwal said a better gender balance will lead to improved student outcomes and better buildings and designs in the wider world. Lots of research, supposedly, has shown that teams are more productive when they are gender balanced. Oh, just wait until you read the next article. They come up with better ideas and better solutions, she said. We women ride in cars, use public transport, and do all kinds of things, she said. If they are being only designed and engineered by a single gender, oh no, then the requirements and needs of the other gender can get a bit missed, oh no. Dr. Agarwal said female participation in some UTS engineering programs such as mechanics and mechatronics was as low as 4%, leading to a heavily male-dominated workforce. Oh no, you gotta get all those males out. The faculty's research also found that bonus points could boost female enrollments, well, there's a typo there, in some engineering courses by more than 10%. The decision would not lower the quality of the graduates, she lied. I cannot really stress this enough. We are taking in people who don't deserve to be here. Jessica Massey, a fifth-year student in civil and environmental engineering at UTS, said gaining entry to a course was just the beginning, and the female students would still have to prove themselves during their degree. Some people I've spoken to think it's a handout, which it is, but I think it's a hand up, she said. I hope it does act as an incentive. They will still be able to prove themselves throughout the degree by doing just as well, if not better, which is a lie. But Andrew Norton, the director of higher education at the Grattan Institute think tank, doubted a TAR concession would encourage more women to study engineering. It's a very male-dominated workplace, and work we did recently showed that even when women have the qualification, they don't work in the area because of the nature of the workplace, he said. Oh no. More than half of all students starting a bachelor degree at an Australian university are now admitted on a basis other than their ATAR, with many universities using bonus points, interviews, or offering places based on HSC results alone. Adjustment points raise a student's tertiary entrance rank for the university that allocates them. If a female applicant's ATAR is 69, nice, then UTS would consider it to be 79 after adding the 10 extra points, but the revised rank would not be recognized by any other university. Ah, discrimination, I love it, don't we? Don't we all, especially when it benefits women. So, basically, this Australian university is trying to achieve equality of outcomes somewhat. It wants more representation of a select gender at the cost of having qualified students. Now notice that I just said gender. To any Australian biological male who is listening, I would recommend that you might try out for this university and claim to be of the female gender expression. If you meet their criteria in terms of lower standards and are of the female gender expression, then you pretty much are guaranteed to get in. And if you don't get in, then you can sue them for discrimination. But anyways, of course, this is just stupid. By stating that a supposed better gender balance will lead to improved student outcomes and better buildings and designs in the wider world, then you are literally allowing in less qualified students. Do I need to remind anyone of the Florida International University pedestrian bridge collapse? Do you want more dead people? I mean, this bridge was designed by an all-woman team, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I think it was an all-woman team, if not just a single female. Now, this article says that the UTS Director of Women in Engineering and IT stated that there is research to show that teams are actually more productive when they are gender balanced. Please show us the research. I would love to read it. But you know what? I think she's lying. They even bring up that women in engineering complain that most vehicles and transportation is designed and engineered by males. They complain that and say that the male designers and engineers are missing requirements and the needs of females. What missing components are there? Are there supposed to be like tampon holders or makeup stations in transportation, like on a public bus or something? Now, this is just another move to give women more affirmative action benefits at the expense of qualified men. Females get a 10-point bonus when they apply to this university for engineering and design, and the director states that this decision won't lower the quality of the graduates. And of course, we all know that I disagree here, and you know why? It's because this university and the people behind it are pushing, once again, a social narrative that absolutely cannot fail. If these women who were given gifts to attend this university failed in their degree plan, then that wouldn't be good for the narrative, so that these females must be allowed to get through these courses no matter what the cost. If they fail everything, they still have to pass, because you cannot go against the narrative that they're pushing. But you know what? Regardless, at the end of the day, women get so many benefits that they don't even realize that they have them until it bites them in the tuchus. But anyways, it's time for the much more fun article called Men Now Avoid Women at Work. Another sign we're being punished for Pound Me Too by Arwa Mahdawi. Oh my goodness. A new study has found U.S. men appear to be following Mike Pence's lead. Maybe they're just angry that Pound Me Too ever happened. Honestly, I would argue that at least a quarter of the U.S. population doesn't even know who Mike Pence even is. So, it looks like Mike Pence is quite the trendsetter. The U.S. Vice President famously refuses to have dinner alone with any woman who isn't his wife. Me too, except I'm not married. And now working men across corporate America seem to be following in his lead. I wonder why. A new study due to be published in the journal Organizational Dynamics has found that, following the Pound Me Too movement, men are significantly more reluctant to interact with their female colleagues. A few highlights from the research include 27% of men avoid one-on-one meetings with female coworkers. Yep, that's right. Almost, I would say roughly a third of men are terrified to be alone in a room with a woman. I know I would be. 21% of men said they would be reluctant to hire women for a job that would require close interaction, such as business travel. Oh, I know I am. 19% of men would be reluctant to hire an attractive woman. Well, I would say would be reluctant to hire any woman. The data above was collected in early 2019 from workers across a wide range of industries. Researchers had asked the same questions, albeit to different people, and with more of a focus on future expectations in early 2018, just as Pound Me Too was in full swing and depressingly, things appear to have gotten worse. I wonder why. In 2018, for example, 15% of men said they would be more reluctant to hire women for jobs that require close interpersonal interactions with women compared to 21% in 2019. The number's going up. It's not just men, though, who are afraid of women, by the way. Women also appear to be increasingly wary of hiring other women. The 2018 survey results found that more than 10% of men and women said they expected to be less willing than before to hire attractive women. Attractive women. I would say women in general. Note the 2019 results for women are not yet public. Internalized misogyny really is a bitch. Internalized misogynies. I don't know if that's really the answer here to this. There's been a lot of talk about gray answers and Pound Me Too. All this harassment business is very difficult for men, we're told, because no one even knows what sexual harassment is anymore. You know why? It's because it's defined by the female. Easier to just avoid contact altogether. That's a logical conclusion. What's really interesting about the study, however, is that it thoroughly debunks the argument that men are confused about what constitutes unacceptable behavior. The very first thing researchers did was look at 19 behaviors emailing sexual jokes to a subordinate, for example, and get people to classify it as harassment or not. Surprise, surprise, both genders basically agreed on what harassment entails. Most men know what sexual harassment is, and most women know what it is. Leanne Atwater, a professor at the University of Houston and one of the study's authors, told the Harvard Business Review, the idea that men don't know that their behavior is bad and that women are making a mountain out of a molehill is largely untrue. If anything, women are more lenient in defining harassment, which I agree with, but I'll come back to that in a little bit. So there you go. Most men are perfectly aware of the difference between a friendly hug and a creepy hug, but most women do not. They are perfectly aware of what constitutes harassment and what doesn't. Which makes you wonder why so many men are afraid to interact with women at work. I can give you an answer, but you don't like the truth. The answer to that question, perhaps, is that a lot of men aren't so much afraid of being accused of anything as they are angry that Pound Me Too ever happened. What? They're angry that they've been made to think about their behavior and made to interrogate power dynamics they always took for granted, and they are punishing women for it by refusing to interact with them? What? It's worth noting, I think, that the Harvard Business Review article previewing the study's 2019 results is headlined, "The Pound Me Too Backlash." You see that phrase a lot, and that framing subtly implies that Pound Me Too went too far, that a backlash is only natural, which it is. It's yet another form of victim blaming, another way to quietly put women back in their place. Wow. There is absolutely no ideological bent here in this article. None at all. There's no real reason that men are avoiding women in the workplace except for the extreme case of internalized misogyny. Women are perfect. Don't you know that? Now for the real talk. So this article by Arwa Madawi starts with some facts, which is good. Men are becoming more reluctant to interact with female colleagues. I wonder why. Is it because men can have their entire life ruined by a simple lie from a female colleague? No, never. Women are perfect and can never lie. You know that. It's like 3rd grade. It's been taught that women are perfect and can never lie. It's interesting, however, to note that even women are increasingly wary of hiring other women, and yet this feminist claims that women, too, have internalized misogyny. It's almost as if women are always the victims, even if men are the ones protecting themselves. Now, what was her name? Madawi brings up sexual harassment. Yes, there are a few individual fellows who are of not desirable ilk, who do things that aren't conducive to a productive work environment. But most guys aren't like that. This woman complains that men even refuse to shake a woman's hand in the workplace. We all know why. It's because of the simple, realistic outcome that can ruin a man's life forever. Women can lie and have been proven to lie if it benefits them. A simple accusation. That's all it takes. It doesn't even have to be a true accusation. A quick, easy lie to human resources or to the administration can put a man's life literally on the line. And this female wonders why men are avoiding women. Most importantly, though, this last sentence here is a half-truth. If anything, women are more lenient in defining harassment. This is true. This is very, very true. Yes, I would agree. It doesn't look like harassment or flirting as much if the male is very attractive and the woman wants to be with him. She'll do whatever it takes to be with a very, very attractive male, especially in the workplace. But look at the other side. If a man who a woman considers unattractive or even creepy, then you know that woman's going to bring the sledgehammer to the male who might be attempting to flirt with the workplace female. Women have both sides. They can be extremely lenient when it benefits them, and also be extremely harsh in punishment towards a supposed unattractive guy. Madawi here states that men are perfectly aware of the difference between a friendly hug and a creepy hug. First of all, don't ever hug your coworkers. And secondly, men sometimes know when to give a hug. Sometimes not. But it is up to the woman to decide what to do about the hugging. Some men who give hugs might find it friendly, but the female might find it creepy and report it to HR. It's just too dangerous to be around a female. Just don't even give her a handshake. Don't hug her. Why are you hugging? Why are you hugging your female colleagues? Just don't ever even touch them. But, just don't do that. That can land you in some serious hot water. But, finally, this article ends with the idea that men are angry about Pound Me Too instead of being afraid. This stupid feminist claims that men are forced to think about their behavior, question power dynamics that men supposedly took for granted, and are punishing women for it by refusing to interact with them. This honestly sounds like a little bit of projection, but no. Men are just afraid of any interaction with a female that could end in the men or the male losing their jobs due to a lie by a female looking for power. It's so terrible that women feel instead of actually think about other people and the events that could happen by lying about interactions with men and women. But with that in mind, thank you very much for watching. I'm Brazen Eagle, and I hope you do have a great day.